welcome back to Roadside Nuggets, folks. I am Georgie, here with you all to help you all through this ascension process this evening. How are you doing today? I feel just let me double check everything. We're gonna try Instagram again today. Did something with the screen, so hopefully the screen won't dim out. So hopefully it works. Awesome. So I have a lot of information to share with you all. So definitely, probably if you have pen and paper, this would be a good stream to write things down because it will really help you a lot with what's coming. Just have awareness. We have insane. We're not even in Scorpio season yet. We're not even there yet. And we have insane, just like really volatile Pluto energy is really popping off right now. And I really feel since Pluto came out of retrograde, a lot of that energy that was constantly recycling back within itself and, going through a lot of purging, internal reflection. Anytime anything goes into retrograde is the deep internal transformation and getting a real good look internally at everything, the inner workings of it all. And not really focusing on the external. So as it comes out of retrograde, what has been worked on, what has been realized, what has been put into place and aligned within ourselves internally, as it comes out of retrograde, that energy now moves out into the external physical, into your reality around you. So that's a lot of what everyone's kind of going through right now. There's a lot of what they're, some people call it ascension symptoms. Really, it's just your body is going to go through quite a few different changes and processes as it moves these toxins, things out of your body. Density is energetic, right? And so in a lot of ways, how we physically move that out of our body, a lot of times the density manifests as something else physical. So it could be toxins in the body, it could be swelling lymph nodes, it could be an ulcer, it could be a tumor or cancer, it could be a lot of different things, but everything's energetic. Okay, it's the most important thing to rehard ourselves. And with being in that perspective, we can better heal our body a lot quicker and faster. Don't need to take all the pills and all the different stuff, injections, leave it alone, right? This is where we learn self-empowerment. So the Pluto energy is definitely a lot about the, yes, Pluto, Scorpio energy is a lot about death and rebirth, but it also has a lot to do with, as you go through that death and rebirth process, you learn so much about the process moving back and forth between those spectrums. And so in that a lot, we learn our healer part of ourself, that healing aspect, that part of ourself comes online as we were going through the trenches of our shit, okay? Because we have to start understanding it. We have to figure out for ourselves the solution, how we're going to heal this, put this back into alignment. How is this going to sit with us now? How are we going to feel about it? And we realize we have to change and grow and evolve. And that's what part of the phoenix energy is about too, the fiery phoenix rising from the ashes. Even if there's a death process, nothing is lost, nothing is over, nothing is, obsolete now. It's a recreation of what was before, completely new, with new perspective and expression within it. We constantly are going to go through this process. And especially when we get Scorpio season, the collective is going to have a nice little phoenix experience within themselves, realizing that there's a lot of ashes, there's a lot of things currently getting destroyed, blown up right now internally within ourselves, a lot of ideas and belief systems, a lot of attachments of what we thought things should be. All of these are currently undergoing demolition within us internally. It is combusting everything out to the surface and releasing it out of our body. And this to the ego looks like loss. It looks like destruction, chaos, the end of the times, doomsday. This is what the ego freaks out about because all of its control is flying in its face. It can't do anything about what's happening because it really wasn't in control to begin with. And so as this becomes more clear and real to you, it allows the illusion that we have attached to and the lies we have believed in and trusted, it allows it to die. And in this death process, of course, there's a lot of emotions involved in this process because where we attach so tightly onto things and can't let it go, either because we don't want to, out of power over and control and stubbornness and, trying to dominate, or not letting it go out of fear and anxiety, paranoia, what it would mean, what you will become without that. Because we have attached, identified so much with things outside of ourselves. that we simply do not understand. We have not allowed space for ourselves to see ourselves without that identity. And we've held on to this identity for so long that we're scared we won't have an identity. We don't know who we are. Everything we are is this, right? And even though on some level, consciously, you can register, hey, I have identified with this external material item. I'm identifying with it, But clearly, that's not who you are. Like, if I was identifying with the candle, I know I'm not the candle. But this is what people in trauma and dissociation do. They can't reference their own stability within themselves. So now something must take the place of that stability for them to physically look at and say, this is my stability. This is my protection, right? And this is very real. This goes for any and all things, talking about humans, animals, material items, cars, money, boats, yachts, all these different things. Like, people attached to external, outside themselves, physical things because they don't have the trust or the hope within themselves that they can achieve that on their own. They need something to be, the external perspective of that. And so this is a lot of what's, again, undergoing demolition within ourselves. It is flying out of every single direction, right? We got to get this cleared up. And what I'm going to share here in a little bit is a big part of why that is the collective experience right now. There's big things coming, especially in the weeks coming up. We are already on the 13th of October, and very, very soon we are going to be in some deep, deep water, boiling water with the cosmic heavenly bodies, the planets, and what they are going to be doing, how they will be dancing with each other in those moments. It's going to definitely cause a lot of upheaval, a lot of things to surface that have been dormant for too long, right? And in order to be aware of something, you have to see it. In a lot of ways, you have to experience it to understand what that is. And if it's dormant, if it's being hidden, we don't know. You're unaware. You're unconscious of it. And so the only way to rectify this situation is to bring it into the light, bring it into your awareness so you can see it, you can acknowledge it, accept it, and then now we can find a solution because now we are accepting it as real to us. It's real enough for us to find a solution for. But if we keep it in delusion, if we keep it in fantasy or denial, it's not real enough for us to accept, and we can't do anything about it. Therefore, any solution that you want in that point is just fantasy, because there's no intention to follow through with the process to actually complete that, right? And so this is the collective push right now that's happening for all of us, that Mom is really getting in the mud and pushing us from the back and really helping us move forward, because there's a lot we have to get through from here till the start of November, because very, very, very quickly as we move into November energies, there's going to be a whole nother level being triggered within us. And those for you, if you got your pen and paper, this is some really cool information right down. I tapped in a little bit last night when I was doing the podcast. I shared some information on there. But before the stream today, I did a little bit more tapping in, just got more through about just the energy of November and just what Mom's really just bringing through and pinging me on. So November 6th, actually we'll go, so around the 4th of November, we're going to have a very powerful Scorpio New Moon, okay? We will already be in Scorpio season by this time. So that energy is already going to be rampant through the collective, the massive Scorpio energy of deep transformation, deep diving within your internal self, and really bringing a lot of that stuff out of the dark so we can see it, clear it, and get rid of it. So that new moon, and anything with a new moon, is definitely, those are the new beginnings, okay? The full moon is really about the completion, the culmination of what your intention was with the prayers, what your discipline and practice was up to that point of what you're manifesting. The new moon is where you set the new intention. The new moon is where you have, the intention, the new idea, whatever it is, you set that in place, and that's what your flow is going to be moving through that. Okay, so, this is interesting because when I wrote down collective intention, I put a line above it, and then above I wrote God's intention. Okay, and the angels were kind of helping me see that where Mom has moved the timelines on this planet for all of us, and we were all aligned with the same one. It is moved us through the experiences and will continue moving us through the experience to where the experiences we have and the choices we make, however God does this magical thing, by the time we get to this point, the collective intention will be aligned with God's intention for this period of energy, if that makes sense. Okay? So, of course, we're like, okay, well, what's God's intention? We will know that through this experience. We will experience everything as we flow through and feel and perceive it. By the time we reach the 4th of November, that Scorpio New Moon, a lot of what needs to already be decided within us will be more aligned with God's intention, because she's ensuring that we're getting the experiences we need to wake up and see what we need to see now. Okay? So that's the new moon on the 4th of November, the Scorpio New Moon. Now, on November 6th, now is the day that they were really pinpointing. On November 6th, around that time, there's going to be a massive energy influx where the collective grief is going to be triggered. And that's why we have all of this to really move through now. We have got to be more focused and more present by the time we get to the point with dealing with grief. It's a big, nasty bug, okay? It doesn't feel good. It's shitty. Shitty energy. Definitely does not, it's not something you want to feel, but it's something we all have a lot of, and we have not been able to access a lot of that deep grief we've been carrying our whole life and actually release that. And so, the angels definitely just kind of give me some, just some guidance about it, just to express to you all. The collective will need to be as present and focused as possible to move through this energy by this time when we get to November 6th. So all this stuff that's coming up now, no matter how chaotic and crazy it's going to get, and it is now, this is highly necessary, because this is moving a lot of bulk stuff out. So by the time we get to November 6th, there will be a lot of space. There will be a lot of room to be more present with yourself. When there's not a whole lot of stuff stuffed in there overwhelming you, you have more space to open up and be vulnerable with yourself, to really allow yourself to deeply reflect and feel. If there's a lot of overwhelming things going on, if there's too many thoughts, too much emotions and things just all congested inside, there's too much noise, okay? And grief is really, really deep, and you got to move slow with that and really be patient with yourself and allow that to unravel itself and release. And so you have all this different distraction, different things going on, and you can't sit still with yourself for 5 minutes and have a good cry or even feel and release. It's not going to benefit you at all. And this is why Mom is helping us through this period, and the planets are definitely doing their magical dance to bring all this shit up and out so we can see it, clear it, get rid of it, and now we have the space and the present moment in ourselves to actually devote to this. And they also shared with tremendous grief. There can be no peace. With tremendous grief, there can be no peace or stability or expansion. And that's very important, because if everything we're talking about is transformation, everything we're talking about is how to get to the next step, the next level, expanding ourselves, healing and growing, and being able to do all these amazing things. But if we don't have peace in ourselves, if we can't actually expand, really, if we can't be stable, then it doesn't matter what you're actually doing. It's all effortless, worthless. Not effortless, it's all worthless. Because the work has nothing to anchor to, right? And this is why stability is important. You have to have a foundation, a security within yourself. If not, then information is going to come in one ear and out the other. You're going to be actually disassociating because you're not able to be present enough in the experience to actually interact and register the information, right? When you have no core anchor, your stability, you're like a bag flowing in the wind. You're everywhere. There's nothing to hold you down and anchor you to where you can get the clarity of what's actually going on, right? And this is where a lot of people are in fight or flight mode and just aloofness, flying around, just not paying attention, not able to pay attention. because they're not present even with themselves. Just getting on.
Get the clarity. What's happening?
There we go. So, next to the body is left in a suppressed state, keeping dormant what lies beneath. To access the energy and release it, the cap, meaning the grief, must be removed and processed to uproot what has been grown and festered deeper because of the grief. It affects the body's response and feeling centers, shutting them down and numbing it. It also affects the thought system, leaving too much room for victim and depravity consciousness, leading to despair, loss of hope and faith, essentially crushing the soul within and trying to snuff the light out. It's very beautifully read. That's what the angel shared earlier before I jumped on stream. So basically, in so many words, what they were sharing is, the healing process is a very delicate process, okay? And if the grief that we have inside of us is keeping dormant a lot of stuff underneath it, we're going to have to move that cap, that block, the grief, out of the way so that whatever has grown underneath it in all this time from carrying on all this grief, now we have to tend to that part of ourself that's been deeply hurting, has been really suffering a lot. Because you can't reach higher states of joy. You can't expand really and grow in consciousness and be able to trust yourself, be able to be present and love yourself, appreciate and honor and respect yourself. You truly can't get to that point if your whole body is riddled in despair, if it's just in fear, if it doesn't have hope, there's no faith in anything, there's nothing to really wake up to, there's nothing to live for anymore. That kind of grief is where so many people on this planet are. Okay? And this is important that we need to acknowledge this within ourselves, first and foremost, and within everyone else, and help ourselves have the compassion for everyone, especially as we get to this point in November, folks. It's gonna be heavy and drippy, okay? And I'd say a lot of tears, a lot of heaviness until you just let it go, okay? And the body's ability to respond, okay? The body is organic and is fully capable of responding in the moment you set an intention. However, the body is stalled if it is congested and bogged down by very low frequencies, overburdened, suppressed. There's no way for those feeling centers to really come fully online and activate and start interfacing with more information, bringing it to you, because it's a massive block right here in the grief. And the grief, for the most part, there are other parts of the body that grief can be stored in, but for the most part, grief is stored in the right side of the body, in the ribs, to the right of the solar plexus. And that grief is a lot to do, on the right side, the masculine right side of the body, that energy has a lot to do with your outward approach to life, your outward expression to life, your outward interaction with life. And so if that part of yourself, what is responsible for your outward experience with life, is being held back because of all this grief, and you can't really turn on your feeling centers, you can't really expand and grow and keep expanding that way, it's holding you back, right? And this is stopping a lot of release, because the right side of your body, that's outward movement of energy. The left side is the feminine, that's receptive side. This is the sending out energy side. This is the external, masculine energy, the push, the go energy. And so if this part of our body that sends the energy out, that releases the energy outward into our experience, is blocked, then there's really nothing really moving out into our life, which means a lot of things are not changing. A lot of things are staying stagnant, and they're seemingly it's like you wake up every day and it's the same nightmare. And that's how people get into those experiences where they see it that way. Their life's not changing. They've been suffering for years, and there's nothing they can do to change it. And that's because of all these energetic blocks, where it's literally blocking the external experience in so many different ways from shifting, because they haven't released this, right? And so everywhere they look, everywhere they touch, feel, and hear, it all has echoes of their grief everything that has weighed them down their whole life on their shoulders and just overburdening themselves with it. So all of this definitely is getting addressed by the company of heaven, and we are on a very speedy recovery, humanity, to being able to access this energy in November and also getting through it. And what we are going through now, what we are processing and allowing to come up and release now, is going to prepare you and set the tone in a lot of ways for when we get to November in that time period. A lot of it's going to be a wash and repeat. We'll already be in the process of purging a lot of deep things already. So by that time hits, it's like another round. Okay, same practice, same discipline, another round. Let's go. Nothing really different. It's not complicated. It's not this whole new thing. Let's freak out and just quit for a moment. No, just keep going, right? And it's exactly why Mom is squeezing all this together. And heart yourself that we shared already quite a few times. We are in this energetic canal, this energetic channel, like a tube. And so where we are used to, again, externalizing, pushing everything outside of ourselves, everything that has been deflected, that has been blamed, that has been projected onto something else, that is now having a complete reroute and coming straight at you, humanity, okay? Because as you go through a tube, okay, as you go through a tube, if all this energy has to fit through this tube, it's a lot to squeeze, right? And if you're going to squeeze it in, everything gets very compressed and compacted, right? That's the experience we're in right now. We are getting pushed through this very tight tube energetically within the etheric. And it's going to cause a lot of things to get squeezed to the surface and pop. And a lot of things to squeeze out that we even know were there. We're like, what the heck? What is that? You know, it was there. It definitely was there for a long time, but we couldn't see it because we've been so external. We've been flying around and floating in la-la land and just being in 3D, matrix, and just completely unplugging from what actual really is going on and why we're here. We kind of lost ourselves for a moment. Okay? So this is what that tube is really helping. It's helping accelerate our transformational process in a lot of ways. Because you see, where the ego wants to sit there and have the control drama. It wants to sit there and like, oh, well, I'll pick this today, but we'll save this for Saturday. It's like we don't get to choose that. Whatever is highest is up on the docket for us, and that's what we're going to move through in the experience. So this allows us to have constant back-to-back experiences. And this is where we were sharing a couple months ago how Mom had expressed she was going to start gaslighting the ego, right? And this is where the experience now, we've been sharing for moments, and this is why we keep telling you all, we don't just get up here every day and just talk out the side of our neck for no reason. Like, this is everything relative that's coming to your experience, and you will experience it. We definitely don't just sit up here and do this for nothing, okay? So definitely, this information is definitely important. Everyone definitely needs to get serious about practice and disciplines and actually honoring these things and putting them into practice. These are not streams just to sit here and listen endlessly to this information, be fascinated with new things. These are things meant to be applied and put into your life immediately so you can immediately see the change and you can immediately understand and realize this is real. This is the only real, true reality, and you have your power to do so and help yourself grow and heal, right? So this is all important. This is going to benefit everyone, but you got to get focused, okay? Mom definitely, we've shared what Mom has shared about, the gaslighting and everything, and this is why we're in this experience now where it seems like things kind of slow down for a moment. It's like they really slow down, like for a moment, and then all of a sudden, the switch happened and everything started turning the big energy coaster up. Here we go, folks. And we start amping up. You can feel the energy, the mood, the emotions, the information, the thoughts, everything's starting to move faster, zipping around like electricity. These are all the different signs before this energy drops into the physical. And the physical experience through our reality starts to shift very, very fast. A lot of changes, a lot of different developments within our 3D experience and matrix and just where we're going with it, okay? So yesterday I shared with y'all, this was the billboard sign. This is the last billboard sign you're getting, okay, before the exit. Everything else after this point, this is up to you to focus on yourself and be focused enough to go with the flow, all right? Because if you're not being centered and stable, you're going to start bopping off into the walls of this tube we are going through, and that's where a lot of turbulence is going to occur, just experiences that are just gonna be really extreme and intense, right? So the more stable and more balanced we are, the more in alignment we can stay and just coast through this experience in the highest way possible, and not have to have this wild, crazy, chaotic spin crashing into the walls of the tube the whole way. You know, it doesn't have to be that intense and insane for you. Maybe a lot of people on this planet that haven't woken up yet, that's why that experience is there, to help accelerate and be a catalyst, a booster for those people to really jumpstart them. Like, whoa, like something's definitely happening. I don't know what's happening, but I feel like I'm going crazy. You know, they need to start seeing these things. They need to start feeling this in their body. They need to start understanding that maybe a lot of things that their spiritual friends were sharing with them, maybe they were right, you know? And this is that beginning part of that phase where they are going to start having experiences, thoughts, ideas, different feelings, sensations in their bodies. And how mom would have it, she has aligned all these people, of course, with spiritual people. So they've had a lot of experience already. They just don't know it. They've been shared a lot of information already. They just haven't registered it yet. Until they start having the experience, and the only thing that they can familiarize themselves with is what you said 5 years ago, what you told them 20 years ago. The only thing that they have an inkling ounce of familiarity with this situation is something that someone told them a while back. Right? And that's how the start of those seeds that we laid within people are going to start blossoming and blooming to the surface, because they have to have that aha moment before they're like, wait a minute, Johnny told me about this 2 years ago. Oh wait, Susan was screaming at me like 20 years ago about this. I didn't understand what she was saying. I thought she was crazy. And now they're in this experience like, whoa, like maybe I was the crazy one. Maybe they were really telling the truth. And like, wow, you know, they have to start waking up from their own experience. It cannot happen by someone just telling them something, you know. And so that's a very powerful, you know, transformation that's occurring on the planet for everyone now. As we move through this energetic tube, it's going to clear a lot of things out. So even when we get into November, we will still be in this energetic canal, very much so. And from the looks of it, it looks like this energetic canal is pretty much stationed for the rest of the year. It doesn't look like it's moving even in December. It looks like it's staying there. And so, yeah, well into 2022, we will have this tube. So definitely that sets the tone for what we are going through now. What we will be experiencing soon is a lot of upheaval. It's nonstop gaslighting for the ego, back to back to back to back, making sure that the ego does not have time to settle or calm down and try to create a plan, try to manipulate, try to mimic something, try to sabotage something. Before that ego can get back up from the last wave, it's getting smacked again, right? And this is why we need this experience, because to us, taking it personally, we might say, okay, this is a little too much. I'm overwhelmed. I can't deal with this. But bypassing the fact that the ego itself needs time. It needs time to think, to manipulate, deceive, to create some plot, some plan, or sabotage something. It needs moments to take information from your experience and twist it into something, you know, that it can feed you. But if your ego doesn't have enough time to do that, and every single time you're hit with another blast of energy, something else is coming up, you're releasing, you're purging, you're transforming. If your ego doesn't have enough time to get back in the saddle and try to fuck with you, you're in the best space possible. I promise you. Even if it doesn't feel like it, even if it's like you feel it's the worst thing ever, I promise you are in the best place right now. Okay? You do not want to give that ego much time to gain ground on you. You want to create as much of a gap with that ego as possible. And if the experience is so intense that it's keeping your ego at bay and you're actually focusing more on yourself, that's powerful and that's a blessing. Can you feel back into when was the last time you were put into an environment like that where you were solely focused on yourself? Haven't had much time with that, huh? Right? And this is because every time we have an understanding or a realization or we're learning, the ego's sitting in the back seat watching this. And a lot of times we don't really expand very quickly. Especially in 3D, we move very slow because we're based off control. We're based off linear, or based off the long haul, planning into the future, 5, 10 plus years and all this different stuff. So we don't view the experience and evolution the same way in a linear society, right? But actually, where it actually is true reality, the ego, it wants that time, which is why the matrix is constructed the way it is. It gives the ego so much time in between events and in between experiences to start mimicking and manipulating and pulling it from different cupboards in yourself and twisting it within you. It has so much time in 3D to do that. But whereas now that the planet is getting blasted with this energy, it's completely taking over the environment. The ecosystem itself is shifting, where everything that's familiar to your ego and how it can predict and expect things to happen, it now cannot. This is going to cause a lot of panic and anxiety within you, and you may even just feel anxiety, paranoia, panic, a very deep upsetness, disturbedness within yourself, but not even know why you feel that way. You could just wake up one day, or you could just be in your flow. You could just be in your flow for that day, just on a awesome high, just smiling and happy, and then all of a sudden something hits you and you're just like, whoa, what, why do I feel really just panicking right now? I feel I'm having an anxiety attack. That is a really good sign and gauge that that's actually your ego's experience, but your ego is trying to filter this experience to you, making you feel like something's wrong. It's trying to trick you with your mind that something is wrong. And this is why you have to observe yourself and be aware of what you are, so you can track your behavior back. Even if something happened 5 minutes ago, if you're aware and observing yourself the whole day, paying attention to yourself, what's going on, being present, then by the time it happens, you can go back 5 minutes and be like, well, what was I doing before that? What was I saying? What was going on? How did I feel before that? And you can track your behavior and your thoughts and everything and find out and see, was it something I got triggered by? And if it's not, it could be the ego actually dying inside. And a lot of times that does not feel good. It actually makes you feel worse, makes you feel shitty. But it really is your ego actually dying inside yourself, so it's actually a good thing, even though it doesn't feel like that. And this is why we can't attach, this is why we can't have belief systems or expect that healing is always supposed to be easy, or healing is supposed to be soft and gentle and just rainbows and stars all the time. That's not what healing is. No. Most time healing is going through the shittiest stuff you have ever seen in your life and being mature enough and compassionate enough to heal and support that back into wholeness and love and truth. That's what healing is. You gotta have balls to heal. And everybody on this planet has balls, even women. God has said many times she's got balls, and she's got the biggest balls in creation. So definitely feminine. Please don't take this personally or take offense to this. It's nothing sexual. We all have balls, and we can grab them and make a choice. You're going to have to get your backbone in place. Find your spine and really stand up for yourself. That is what I'm saying. That is what God is saying to you. She did not create weak people. God did not create helpless things. God has created the most strongest, most divine creations of ever. And humanity is a very special, special creation to God. There is so much riding on us and so much responsibility. We have not even yet understood what that truly means and what we are going to become. And as we are reaching 5D, what that will mean for the rest of creation. We have no idea. We cannot conceive what that will look like or what that will mean for our human lifestyle at that point. What will happen? We don't know. It's never happened before. This whole experience, this human experience, is an experiment still. And I want to rehard everybody, because the whole thing I've shared yesterday and on the podcast before too, this whole lower perspective of what fate and destiny is. Thank you, angels. It's not real, right? We have created our own version of what fate and destiny is off of our own suffering in life. What we think life is, and that life is painful, and that yes, life has pain in it and fear and all these different things. That's not a life. What we have told ourselves is life is really just a projection of how we've lived our life. Our experience in life is our version of life. It's our perspective of how life is supposed to be. And you got to get out of that and realize that life is so much multidimensional. It's beyond suffering. It's beyond all of this. And you cannot identify your trauma and your pain with life and say that this is my lifestyle or that this is life for me. No, it's not. So this is really powerful. I really feel this is a really big game changer for all of us. Definitely necessary before we even hit 2022, because humanity, I am telling you right now, 2022 is it's gonna knock our socks off. Okay, that energy is gonna come in hot, and looking at it for a moment, it's gonna come in hot. All right, and this is why we're having the pregame, so to speak, now. This going on right now and moving into November and then even in December, this is the pregame for 2022 January. This is pregame. So this looks intense, this looks chaotic and just like insane and just overwhelming to you. Find your balls, people, okay? You got to find your balls, get in your heart, and trust yourself that God would never push any experience forward unless we were absolutely ready for it. And we were absolutely prepared on some level to be able to manage ourselves while going through that process. God would not send you down a suicidal path, okay? Humanity is suicidal. God is not suicidal. She wants you to get home in the best, safest, most divine way possible. And she will do everything to ensure that that takes place. But if you are not moving your feet and you're choosing to stall time because you're in fear, or you're paranoid, or you don't know what's going to happen, or you want someone to give you proof first before you trust to say, okay, it's not up to you. You are here on this planet as a part of a collective experience and experiment. Meaning it's not riding on your choice and your control. We've already agreed to this is why we're here in this experience. So a lot of this has a lot to do with maturity too. I feel definitely that's coming for the collective. And you can say, well, I'm like 40 years old. Well, I'm 50, 60, 70. I'm mature. Well, you're not. Okay? Maturity is very multidimensional. And maturity has a lot to do with what you're actually working with, what you're handling within yourself and outside of yourself. You can be mature in a lot of different things, but if you never had an experience before, if you're not familiar with it, you need to grow through maturity with it so you can learn to be better stable, have a stronger foundation, be able to trust, be able to surrender, let go. Even if you don't know, even if things are uncertain, you still have trust and faith in God. And so you're secure, you're centered and present. See, there's no way around it. God has made everything simply divine and simple for a reason, because we constantly want to make it complicated. It does not need to be complicated at all. All right. Gonna pause for a moment and read these beautiful comments I saw coming up here, everybody. So we got Roxy, we got Nairi, got Igor, Emma, we got Lori online, we got Candace, Dina. Let's see, we got Casey. And I'm pretty sure there's probably more people than that, but that's all I see so far. So for everyone that's on there that I don't see, I'm sorry. I can't control horror book much. But yeah, how is everybody? I just kind of want to pause this for almost like 40 minutes. So I do want to have moments if anyone would like to share anything or has a comment or is going through a current experience they would like some guidance on, or just a better awareness of how to really move through that process. Feel free to please comment. If you're on Telegram, please raise your hand. Just let me know you want to share and talk, and we can move through this thingy. But if not, I will move forward with the rest of the stream and as such and continue. Let's see. I think there's something else. I'm getting pinged to share. Let's go into the vault. Where is it at, Angels? Okay, so this is something I shared the other day. Okay, so this is some simple things you can share with your, you can work with yourself on. Again, three simple questions just to assertively. And now, when I say you can ask yourself these questions, it doesn't mean like nonchalantly. Like literally, even if it takes you going into the bathroom and looking into the mirror, like looking into your eyes and asking yourself, like you're talking to another person, being assertive and direct with yourself. What is present for me? Okay? What is applicable? What is present and applicable now that I can work with now? And that was the third question, what can I work with now? So those three questions will help you, I would say, sift through a lot of the junk and a lot of things that you don't need to focus and really, associate yourself with now. Really, with these three questions, you can kind of by process of elimination, only focus on the relative now things that you can work with, you can change, you can apply, transform to actually get immediate results now, right? And this is a very important thing, because once you can do this for yourself and experience in real time changes and experiences with yourself because you've made a change, that's profound. It's an impact to you and your experience that will help you grow and trust more of it, because now that you've seen it, you've interacted with it, you chose it, you put it into action, and now you're watching it literally manifest into your experience. That's all for full circle. You have now just shown yourself that you can do it, that you can manifest the higher for yourself, and it is based off what you're choosing. You need to actually witness that happen at least once in your experience for you to actually get past the belief systems that we have stored up for so many years, saying that these things aren't possible, that these things just don't happen. So again, process of elimination, make it extremely simple for yourself, break it down, weed out everything that's not relatively present and applicable now for you, okay? Everything else will come back to you, right? There's nothing you're going to lose. There's nothing that's going to disappear. If it's highest for you to transform and become aware of, it will come back. So you can let this go and trust that mom will bring it back to you when it's highest to deal with it. And also another point is, once you change your consciousness and your vibration, you start catching yourself and becoming aware of where you are already, or where you are allowing ego in, okay? It's a simple process of just the organic state of the avatar. The more your vibration raises and the higher consciousness goes, the more information becomes aware to you, just naturally, organically. There's nothing manually being done. There's nothing being forced or controlled. Literally, just by you raising your vibration and consciousness, you are tapping in and accessing higher realities, higher lanes of thought and information that are not available in low frequencies. Okay? And this is how we start expanding and growing and learning through our experience with ourselves through that process. It's very simple, right? But you do have to choose it, you do have to apply it, and you do have to be consistent with it to keep expanding it and growing. Okay? Words are, so Casey commented, she said, words are very relative to the energies in the Australian fractal. You're right. We need to grab our balls and be divine angels of heaven. Backbones of dragons. Leathery hearters, brother bear. Love you so much, fucking. I love you. And I posted something earlier, and I don't know if our Australian fractal has seen it yet or not, but it was like a meme. Some guy was in the office with glasses. He had his coffee mug, and the meme was like, hey, if we can, I think it was something like, if we can not turn into Australia, that would be great. Or something. Can we get our shit together before we turn into Australia? That would be awesome. And I laughed at that, but I posted on my Facebook, and I definitely wrote in there too that I'm very grateful for our Australian fractal and everyone in that country, that continent, really, I guess is what we call it, just to take on that contract. Everything is according to the divine plan. So of course, where the soul chose to incarnate and be born into this physical world, it did so knowing a lot of the information already in the timeline. Okay, so we all honor you all and respect you so much, for taking on that role and going through that fire. You've got it. You've got the balls. Mom's giving them to everybody. We are mama's baby dragons. We don't take no shit, and we can push through anything. We can rise above anything, and we are strong, stronger because of it. So definitely trust yourselves more. You all got this. I've always admired the Australian Fractals' high levels of passion and joy. I mean, since the moment I really started interacting with these beautiful, love beings in Australia, like every single time, so much energy, so much excitement, childlike wonders, and they were so giddy and just like, yippee, had a lot of just excitement and love for mom and just for brothers and sisters they'd never even met physically, but felt so connected to. And it was amazing to see that energy. It was so inspiring. I just admire that passion so much. And just looking at the environment, the place where Australia is and what's going on over there and everything that's, there's a lot of insanity, a lot of fear flying around. There's a lot of anger and rage and dark energy, being thrown around that place. And so again, to meet people who are such bright lights that can smile big ass, cheesy, beautiful smiles and just be able to laugh through a whole stream and just be able to be in that childlike state, even being in a space like that is so overrun with just really, not so loving vibrations. That's profound. That's amazing. That shows grit. It shows endurance, stamina, that you've built that up over moments. That wasn't just something you woke up with one day. It's something that's been constantly tended to and grown within yourself, to where even if you're in a volatile environment like that, your natural state has grown into the path of love and joy and childlike wonder, to where that comes out more often than the other side. So that's a really beautiful, y'all are amazing. Love you all. Let's see. Grab the balls, Casey. This Libra season has not been so harmonious. However, we asked the angels to bring it on. And yes, exactly. Remember this. And this is a good point, Casey, because we say this all the time, especially people on the team. We're like, bring it on, angels, bring it on, bring it on. And it's like, it gets here, and we're like, fuck. I'm like, no. And it's like, no. You said bring it on. You said the magic words to creation to all of the angels and said bring this shit on so we can get through it. And now that it's at your door, bring the doorbell, you don't want to open it up and let it in. Too bad, right? It's here. Let's just get through it. Let's accept, embrace, and allow, right? Grab your balls. You've been waiting for it. You knew it was coming. You should have used these moments to prepare for it. So now there's no more time. We just got to move, right? Casey said, shit happens, and I feel the biggest thing that's come up is what can we do now, not what happened then. Exactly. And this is a focus for the team here too. There's a lot of old junk coming up, and it does not matter. It does not matter what happened then. It matters what can we do now. And it's definitely a process. Sometimes we might bounce back and forth before it fully clears and just transforms to the higher idea. There might be some influx, fluctuation with it, and that's all fine. We just honor the process, be patient, love yourself enough to go your pace. Okay, there's no sense of clock on the wall. It's like you got 2 minutes to make it to that finish line. You better run like hell. Nobody's saying that, but the intensity and the energy and the what's going on collectively is serious. It's really serious, and it's happening, right? So it requires focus and being consistent with yourself to move through this. As I shared before, this is the last billboard sign. This is the last billboard sign you see on a highway before the exit comes. This is it, humanity. These are the signs. This is everything that's flashing in your face, and you need to be responding. You need to be integrating the signs you are seeing, making sure you're acknowledging this, you're writing it down, you're incorporating this within yourself, applying it. Because by the time we get to the exit, there's no more wait time. There's no more trying to plan things out, trying to figure things out, and like, oh, well, no. Exit now. We are all exiting off, right? And this is how the experience don't know. Somebody was calling. Don't call my phone. I'm on stream. The angels do not play. Okay. Stream time. We're focused on the collective. No phone calls, please. So let's see. Yeah, Jordan. I'm actually pretty excited that the Instagram is doing pretty well today. It hasn't shut off once. So if it continues like this, then I'm gonna move to another plan with it and really get fun with that. So I'm really excited about that. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Dina. I love you. So Nairi said, I lost my job yesterday for not getting jabbed. I'm glad I got you all. Calls can fuck off. Yay! Yeah, there's a lot of videos like that. I saw like quite a few videos on TikTok and social media this morning about just people that were calling in, letting their boss know they will not be coming into work anymore. You can, send my check to this address, whatever. And I think there was one where this girl called into her boss and told her that, and that lady like kind of screamed like, "Excuse me!" Like back on the phone, she hung up really quick, like what? And then the meme was like, "This is a good sign. You need to quit your job," right? So obviously everyone's going through in a big way. People are stepping up. They are grabbing their balls. They are learning like, you know what? You're not gonna fuck me over anymore. I bust my ass for this job. I come here every day. I work. I do good service, and you want me to jeopardize my health? You want me to jeopardize my own safety for you? Fuck you, right? This is not worth it. You are asking too much, and it's not equal energy exchange. So you're starting to see people push back, and this is good. You're starting to get your voice, starting to pay attention to what is going on, not necessarily on the news media, but what's going on off news media. What's going on, within the collective. What are people saying? What are people sending in videos and stuff through, Telegram or Reddit or, other different platforms that aren't so censored? What are those people talking about, right? And we just got to be in this space of just keep stepping up, keep realizing what we have to do for ourselves to keep ourselves safe and being loved and supported, and not letting other people damage or hurt us just because of their own selfish controlling intentions, or they want you to comply. We are not sheep anymore. But in order for you not to be a sheep, you got to stand up and actually speak your truth. Okay, because sheep don't talk back. They're like, bah. They don't talk back, right? You got to fucking get on your 2 feet. Grab your balls and say, you know what? Fuck you. Taking my power back. Not doing this no more. I will go somewhere else where I am supported, where I am loved, I am respected and honored, and I feel good about what I do. That's what gets my energy now, not you whores, right? And that's what you take sometimes. You just gotta put your foot down. It has nothing to do with being mean. It has nothing to do with being cruel or getting back at anyone or being vengeful or resentful. All it is simply you using your passion for yourself, the deep love of life that you have for yourself, and choosing, you know what? I'm not going to go this way anymore for you. I am worthy of love. I'm worthy of a higher experience, divinity, healing, a better life, feeling good in my body. I'm worthy of all that. And if this is not the experience for me, goodbye. Cut cords. Return everything back to sender, and you reconnect back to God and heart and love, divinity, highest timeline. Love everywhere present, and you move in that direction and don't look back. That's what you got to do. Quit giving the power to ego. Quit focusing and looking over your shoulder. Quit giving space to the ego. It doesn't need it anymore. It's dissolving. It's dying. All right. So definitely love yourself. Love yourself, and Nairi, love. Definitely a big hugs and love to you. About the job, and mom's watching everything. Absolutely, and you stood up, you took your power back, and you stated that you were going to get the jab. And so if that's what they chose to do and fire you, don't worry. Mom's got a lot of things queued up. She's like, okay, you want to play that game? All right, chess master, my move, check. Okay, God's got everyone in check, and she can move a piece in a second. So definitely trust and love yourself a lot more. Trust mom. She's got this all planned and worked out, and more opportunities, higher experiences and love will be coming. Hey, can you turn that radio off, please? Thank you. So let's see. Oh, I love you all. Yep, discrimination at its finest. They want you to be a sheep like them, but if you don't want to baa like them, they don't want you a part of their group. That's fine. Y'all can be Dumbo sheep, and we'll go be the enlightened living souls, that we are, and accept that. So, yeah, I love and appreciate all of you, and definitely, I know I say move slowly and be patient with yourself, but if you are procrastinating, if you are distracting yourself, if you are disassociating, okay? You can catch yourself doing that. So definitely use with good guidance, with discernment in yourself, and reflect. Am I letting myself just escape the whole time? Am I letting myself just be numb the whole time? Or am I really focusing on it, okay? And so just be as real and raw with yourself as possible. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter if there's snot running everywhere. It doesn't matter if you're crying all day long. Get it out. Allow yourself this gift of release. And as these higher cosmic energies are coming in and they're so intense and amplified, it is a massive catalyst and a booster to help us release more than we usually on average would be able to do on our own intention. Right? So this is a big, big energetic wave push for all of us. And if we work with it, if we allow, be vulnerable, open up and surrender, a lot more can get filtered out and transformed in these moments. And that will leave less work after that we'll have to deal with. Okay? This is how you help yourself. This is how you support yourself and be prepared and get ahead of the energy, not just be sitting there and unawares and get blasted, out of left field, out of nowhere, being blindsided, okay? This is where we get in the horse saddle, we get the reins, we're like, all right, I can do this. I can make it. And you go, right? You don't need someone to sit there and pull you around. You don't need someone to hold your hand. No. This is grab balls time, okay? Like, this is, and I was like looking for the title for this, and I was like, all right, Angels, what are we going to call the title today? And they were like, and all I heard was like, on your mark, get set, go. And there was like screaming. It was like this massive marathon race was like going on in heaven. I was like, holy crap. And it was like, I could literally feel the vibrations, shifting to the ground, and like everything's starting to really amp up and vibrate. I was like, whoa. So like, the angels are letting you know, like I told you yesterday and today, this is your billboard sign, the last one you're getting before the exit, right? And today the angel's like, on your mark, right? So this is where you get on that line and you're getting ready to take off, humanity. These are the last moments before things really slingshot off and get really wild and crazy. These are the last moments to get your bearings, get centered, get anchored, support yourself, learn how to be consistent with this now, because as everything picks up, you will not have time to sit there and do all this, this deep internal work slowly. You're going to have to pick it up and just do the best you can and go with it, right? So if you love yourself and you respect yourself enough, prepare now, do these things now, and get yourself situated. So as this energy rolls in, you're already ready for it, and it just uplifts you. It doesn't come in and slam you like it's going to do for a lot of people who are choosing to be stubborn, okay? This is where you got to trust mom. You got to open up your arms, let it all go, be vulnerable, let your heart open, and just receive every little bit of support and love that is coming to you from creation. Doesn't matter where it's coming from, who it's coming through, be open and vulnerable and allow it to come through, okay? You are learning massive lessons, both on you being a giver and also receiving that same kind of love and learning how to deal with that. Because a lot of people can't receive. It's hard for them to trust and receive and, not, distrust other people's intentions, So again, this is healing for all of us all around on so many different levels, and we are in deep need of this, and it's necessary to move through this, get this out before November pops up, because again, that's like I don't know if y'all have been on a roller coaster before, but like there's some I've been on where there's a guy at the bottom of the roller coaster before you start, right? And he's the one that's kind of playing with you. He's like, oh yeah, and we're like, well, when's it gonna start? And he's kind of like sitting there, you're like, oh, and then he's like, I'm gonna count to 3, he's like 1, and then he presses real quick, and you're like, whoa, and the ride starts, but there's always a guy at the top too. And so after that crazy wild, spin and twisting and all that, you get to the very top of this peak. And sometimes there's a guy up there, literally standing there, and he's just sitting there with a little machine or like that, and you're like, and there's some people who at that point are already scared, like they want to get off the ride, like, can you just stop please so I can get off? And he's sitting there smiling, he's looking at everyone right in the eyes, he's like, yep, all right, and he starts waving, you see people's horror, like, wait, no, like the whole thing just like, ew, right straight down, like it's crazy. That's where we are at. We are at the peak, people, okay? This is the peak, that small, still moment before things start to dip, okay? And we are dipping into Scorpio season very soon, so get ready for that deep dive into yourself, death and rebirth process, and getting that all cleared up. So very grateful, Mom. Grateful for all of you divine angels and love beings out there. Love yourself, and definitely just support yourself as much as possible. Really, really focus. And this is going to show you in yourself internally. You're going to witness yourself how much you respect yourself, how much you really are being attentive and supporting yourself and making sure you are getting where you need to be and you are processing what you need to process and feel so you can be as clear and stable as possible. If your foundation is fucked and you're all over the place, then you can clearly understand that you are not doing your work and you're not helping yourself in support and stability. And there's no one to blame, but you have that accountability. That's your responsibility as a soul in this life, okay? So time to get the balls, people. Step up. We got this. All right, Mom is getting there. She's in the back. She's pushing everyone forward. Do not fear anything. God's got this. The timeline is set. The path is straightforward. All you got to do is trust and move your feet. God's got everything else covered, okay? Don't stop. Just keep moving forward. Don't look back. We're going to grandness, all right? I love all you beautiful people. Appreciate you so much. There will be a live podcast tonight, probably going to be around 2 a.m., and that's kind of like between 2 and 4 a.m. I've found that a lot of people are just really awake around the world. So I think I'm going to do that again tonight. And again, definitely appreciate and love all of you coming on and just sharing and just any questions you have or any kind of topics you'd like to be shared or talked about on stream, message me on here, on Telegram, whatever like that, and just send them. But yeah, I feel that this is moving to a really interesting place with the platforms, and Instagram seems to be going perfectly fine today. So that's another addition that we'll be able to work with soon. So I'm really excited where this is going. So love you all. So grateful. Stay centered. Ground yourself. Right ceremonies. Drink tons of water. I'm telling you, like water, like jug. You need to be drinking water. Water is pure consciousness, and that's how you're going to process the most and also release the most. If there's no fluid in your body, how are you going to release things from your body? It needs something to flush it out with. So it needs fluids, i.e. water. You need to be fully hydrated, okay? This is not a game. This is important. Number one priority here is water, people, okay? And the brain, where the mind is, needs a lot of water. And if it doesn't have water, the mind will take over like a bitch. I'm telling you right now, that ego will come out of nowhere when you're really dehydrated. It's what the ego wants. Make sure you're staying up on your fluids, get a lot of sunlight, get out into the earth and trees and grass, really feel the earth, really let yourself be present, still, and breathe. All right? Take care of yourselves. I love you. Have a good night, folks.